The Detroit Pistons improved to 2-1 after defeating the Boston Celtics in their first home game of the season behind the effort of their newfound Big Three.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Ku Khahil. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for the last 4 years for the Locked On Network, been a credentialed media member over the last 3 years, and I appreciate all of you guys who make Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons, hit that subscribe button, or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That's another great way to support the podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. If you want to watch live watch parties with me and the rest of the Pistons fan base for the Piston games, click the link down below for the playback room. You can join the room over there. Also, if you want to take advantage of the 50% off deal I have for my Substack, where all my written content and film breakdowns will be at, almost daily content, for just $3 a month, click the link down below. You can join the Substack. Appreciate all of you guys' support. Let's go ahead and talk about today's game. Later on, we're really going to dive into how well Ausar Thompson played and why he played so well. Then I want to talk about Jalen Duren, who did not have the greatest start to this game, but ended up having a great game. I want to talk about later on the ups and downs of Duren and how he can get to just being a more consistent, impactful player for the Pistons and what's holding that back, why he has these stretches where it's like, what are you doing? We'll talk about that later. But let's start off with the overall team getting this win against the Boston Celtics. I have to go ahead and shout out Tom, our Pistons fan from Korea, who came in and has had an amazing time with the Pistons. Had an amazing time in Detroit, but the Pistons really set him up. At the game, gave him some good seats, let him use Tom Gore's card to go to the Pistons shot. Like everyone shout out Tom, man. He's living his life. The Pistons did him a solid. But what a great game for him to go to. The Pistons get their first win at home. Led by their big three, which is Ausar Thompson, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren. Cade Cunningham 25-8, Ausar 21-12, Jalen Duren 24-17. The Boston Celtics, I've said this over and over on this podcast before. I don't know why the Celtics have come up so much, but they have. But the Celtics front court is bad. They have a very bad front court. They're not very good. They don't have a lot of size. They're not very good. So the Pistons front court should have been able to dominate this matchup, and they eventually did. Started off a little rough at first, but they eventually dominated. They had, NBA.com's rebound totals are always wrong. They have the rebounds. I guess I should have went somewhere else to get their rebounds. But NBA.com has the Pistons out-rebounding the Celtics 65-32. But I think they include like team rebounds, like rebounds that go out of bounds and stuff. But either way, the Pistons dominated the glass. They dominated the paint. And that's exactly what they should have done against a team like the Boston Celtics. Cade struggled early in this game. He had 6 turnovers in this game. Again, just not very good with the turnovers. The turnovers have to get better. Could not continue to turn the ball over like this. But early in the game, I felt like he wasn't taking the best of shots with a team like the Celtics. They don't have a lot of size in the paint, I should say. So he should have been able to get to the paint routinely. And he wasn't doing that in the first half. In the second half, though, he had a great game. He turned it up again. This is now back-to-back games. He turns it up in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. And he just started going to the rim. He started going to the rim. They realized that no one really could stop him from getting to the basket. He was getting there routinely, was drawing fouls, some tough finishes at the basket as well. So Cade, we'd like to see Cade eventually, and he's going to, someone said this during the live watch party, and this is a truthful statement. If there was one thing that you could say about the Pistons that you'd feel like, okay, well, I don't need to be concerned about that to start the year, which is Cade needs to play better. Okay, if that's the one thing you're going to take away from these games, then that's fine, because we know Cade's going to be fine. Like, Cade's just having a slower start to the year, and a slower start to the year for Cade is 25-8 on decent efficiency. So the turnovers are a bit much. Obviously, you don't like to see the turnovers. You'd like to see him start off a little bit stronger in the first half, but Cade will eventually play a full game where he's just playing excellent, right? Like, that's going to eventually happen. You don't need to be concerned about that. We have seen years now of when Cade starts off the season, beginning of the game, he's just, this happens. Eventually, we're going to see Cade get to full-time Cade throughout the entire game. But again, a tough game for Cade at this point of his career is 25-8 on good efficiency. So it's like, if he plays better, if Cade plays like how we know he can play, the Pistons will just start, like, they would have won by like 15 plus this game, I feel like. They won by 6. They would have won it by at least, let me not say 15 plus, 10 plus in this game. I feel like they would have beat the Bulls easily. In this past game, the game before this one, they would have beat the Rockets even more than they did before anyway. So, Cade, fine game from him. Like to see him be a little bit more consistent throughout the game, but ended up strong. Did a great job in the second half. Isaiah Stewart, the bench unit really, led by Stu, I should say, was really impactful for the Pistons again. Him, Ron, Javonte Green continues to play a lot. And look, I'm not I haven't been the biggest fan of his minutes, but when he's playing out there, I can't deny that he's giving it his all. And they need some of his defense. So he's trying hard in defense, and they need that. So they've been impactful. When those guys come in off the bench, it really turns the game around. The Pistons did not start off well to this game at all. They went down double figures instantly. They had 2 points after 4 minutes of the game. Like, it wasn't good at all. Then they started some of the bench in, started to get more active, started to get some more energy, and then they turned the game around, really controlled it after that. But that was led by Isaiah Stewart, who again had 9.6 rebounds, a block, and a steal. Led by Ron Holland, who came in and really was infectious with his defense, had 7 points, 2 steals, 1 block. Wasn't the most efficient for Ron, shot 3 of 9, but his impact was felt because of how impactful he was defensively and how he was able to turn so many defensive possessions into transition opportunities, how he was impactful himself in transition opportunities. The bench unit for the Pistons has been pretty good. I'm not going to lie. And this is without Caris LeVert, who was one of their big offseason additions, and he hasn't even played. So you got to give it to the bench unit for coming in and really giving the energy that the Pistons need to get back into these games. You'd like the Pistons to not need the bench to give them the energy to get back into these games, but they are. Stu's doing a great job. Stu's played excellent to start the season. He hit 2 threes again in this game. Stu's going to continue to hit multiple threes a game. He's just going to be, he already was insanely valuable, but he's going to be even more valuable. He's had an exceptional start to the season. Stu's been great. And Ron, even though he shot 3 of 9, 4 of those were threes. All of them were open. You want him taking those shots. You live with him taking those shots. You need him to take those shots, so you live with it. But yeah, I thought the bench played really well for the Pistons. And I thought Cade came through in the second half and closed it out for him. Tobias offensively had some timely buckets, though. Defensively for him, we need Tobias to be a little better. Jalen Brown dropped 40 points in this game. Majority of that was on Tobias. They had Ausar checking Peyton Pritchard. And then when they moved Ausar to Jalen Brown, then they would just go through Peyton Pritchard, and he would seek out and destroy, whether it was Duncan Robinson or whoever it was that was guarding. Then he would seek and destroy him. Then they'd move Ausar back to Peyton Pritchard. Then they'd just go back to Jalen Brown. So they were having that problem. You could have went with Ausar and Ron, but I feel like it felt like JB after Ron missed his 4th three was like, okay, we tried to run this. We're going to need some more reliable offense as well on the floor so we can get some stuff going. I get it, but you don't expect Tobias to give up 40. You expect a little bit more from Tobias defensively. I think he has more than he gave tonight defensively, so you'd like to see that. But Tobias had 18, 8, and 4. He also contributed on the glass to the Pistons, really dominating the Celtics front court. But yeah, defensively, just you need and want more from Tobias on that end. Not a very good game for Duncan, though. Some timely buckets, though, in the second half, but just not overall a great game for him. He's struggling to get things going. His teammates are struggling to really get accustomed to how he likes to play, his movement shooting, how often he moves. I think it's going to be something you're going to continue to see worked on and improved upon as the season goes on. But 2-1, they should be 3-0. 2-1 after getting their first home victory of the year. Big time. Again, another game where it feels like a lot of the players that came into the game impacted the win. It wasn't just a few guys. There was a lot of guys that really impacted this win. The Pistons continuing to play well without Jaden Ivey and Caris LeVert. Both of those guys are having guys come in, step up, and continue to play well. That's great to see with the depth of this team. He'll take it. Coming up, though, Ausar Thompson. We're going to really dive into his game. 21 points, 12 rebounds. The breakout year is here. He's playing great basketball. We'll break down what makes this makes it so clear a breakout year is coming for Ausar coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track. That can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. It's helped me organize my accounts, track my spending, and get a better handle on my investments without having to touch a spreadsheet. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where my money is going and how to make it work harder for me. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDINNBA at monarch.com, for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDINNBA for half off your first year with Monarch Money. Then I got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, one of my favorite sponsors, Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for these opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives the fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I'm a procrastinator. I wait to the last second with everything, whether I'm buying tickets for a Pistons game, a Lions game, a concert, whatever it is. I always wait to the last second. Oftentimes it screws me over, but with Game Time, it doesn't. You still get great seats. You get great deals all the way up until the last second, sometimes even after the event has started. And that's why I love using Game Time. It helps people like me who like to wait to the last second and still get a good deal. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDINNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go with Game Time. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. Check out the playback room down below if you want to watch the games live with me and the rest of the Pistons fan base. And also, if you want to get all of my film breakdowns, we'll have one tomorrow over Ausar Thompson's great game. I'm going to go through the clips. There's a few plays specifically I have highlighted in my notes that we're going to break down. If you want all the film breakdowns and all of my written content I do for you guys, check out the Substack. Click the link down below so you get the 50% off and only have to pay $3 a month to get all of that content for you guys. Appreciate all of you guys' support as usual. But let's get into this Ausar Thompson performance, man. The breakout is here. We are witnessing the Ausar Thompson breakout. 21 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a team-high plus 15 when he's on the floor. The Pistons just dominated the Celtics whenever he was on the floor. His impact defensively was obviously felt, but you're seeing the offensive game catch up. You're seeing the offensive game arrive, and that's what you need to see, and we are seeing it. The biggest tell that Ausar's season is going to be different this year, he had 15 shots in this game, 16 shots last game. That's 31 shots combined over 2 games. There's not any other point in Ausar Thompson's career where he's had 31 shot attempts in over a 2-game stretch. You are seeing him be more aggressive. The aggressiveness that we heard from JB in the offseason that they're going to get from him, we're seeing it play out. The aggressiveness that Ausar talked about that you're going to see from him is playing out. They said that he's going to be more aggressive as a scorer. They said he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. We're seeing all of that happen, and it's generating good looks. It's generating paint touches. It's generating good offense for the Pistons. He is playing extremely well. And all of that we heard about the aggression, that was the biggest gap between him and his brother. The aggression as a scorer. The aggression as a driver, as a slasher. The constant attack on the rim was the biggest difference between him and Amen. Amen was a ruthless slasher. He still is. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. What's the defense? He's getting to the basket and he's either dunking on you or finishing on you, or he's getting fouled. Like that's one of the two. That's what's happening. Ausar, you're seeing that this year with him. Multiple great drives to the basket in this game. I like the fact that he's going to his midi, but I feel like he's going to it. If there's one critique I have, I feel like he's maybe going to it a little bit too much. There's some mid-range attempts that I feel like he could be turning into drives instead and trying to draw a foul. But you want him taking those middies. That opens up his drive. I get it. I just don't want it to be like the number one option for his drives. 2 biggest things I want to point out about his game, though, that I think are my biggest takeaways from the game. One, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. I said the last podcast, free throws is a problem, bro. You can't keep shooting the way you're shooting at the free throw line. Last year, the final 23 games, I've said this before, shot around 71% from the free throw line. He got better at the free throw line as the season went on. He is a better free throw shooter than he showed in the first 2 games of the regular season. He's a better free throw shooter than he showed in the preseason, which we're done talking about the preseason. The preseason was the preseason. That stuff doesn't count. We're done talking about it. He's not as bad of a free throw shooter as he showed through the first 2 games of this season. He got better as the season went on last year. There was reason to believe he'll be a fine, not good. I don't think he'll ever be like a good free throw shooter, 80-plus guy. But around 70%, you take that. 70%, you take that with how he drives. And in this game, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Started off 7 of 7 before missing his final free throw. You will absolutely take that with how hard it is to stop him from getting to the basket without fouling. You will absolutely take that. Is huge. Huge for his development if he can hit free throws, because it's going to be hard to stop him. He's going to get fouled a ton, and he's going to have to convert those. So that was great. That was number one biggest takeaway. The second takeaway, and this is going to be part of the breakdown tomorrow. We're going to show video evidence of this tomorrow. I'm going to really break it down. What Ausar is doing within the half court on when he's receiving a pass on the perimeter, what he did in this game is what he needs to be doing, and I feel like almost every single time on the catch. He is doing what we call, what it was taught to me as throughout playing basketball growing up, is running through the ball. You're running through the ball. As soon as, whether it's Cade or anyone kicks the ball out to Ausar, he's not catching, jabbing, he's not catching and then driving. He is, as soon as the pass is on his way, he is running to the pass, running into the gap that's open because they are sagging off of him because they don't respect him as a shooter. But the way you counter that is by making up the space quick. And he's doing that by running through the ball. By the time he's catching it, he's already full speed after 1 or 2 steps, and he's getting to the paint instantly. And he did that multiple times. He started off, Nikias Duncan pointed this out on Twitter. He tweeted this clip out. Started off with a double drag, double screen at the top of the key. Cade comes around, runs a pick and roll with Duren. Duren's crashing the glass. Ausar's guy tags down. Cade then swings it out to Ausar at the wing. And before his defender can even react, Ausar's running through the pass. And now he's able to get all the way to the paint and has a nice double clutch finish at the rim. Then the very next possession, same thing. He's running around the left wing. Cade, that is. Cade's running a pick and roll to the left wing. Kicks it out to Ausar on the right wing. Ausar runs through the catch. Runs through the ball. Gets to the basket. Another crazy double clutch finish at the rim, which is really nice to see. But he's getting to the paint. And he's able to create this spacing that you call it. Spacing isn't just made by shooters. It isn't just made by, movement, whatever. There's different ways to create spacing and take advantage of spacing. And what Ausar is doing is how non-shooters are able to impact the game. You have to run through the ball, make up that ground, and be extremely effective. It's kind of like a cut. I don't know if you'd really call it a cut because he has the ball in his hands, but it's like a version of a cut. When you are that lethal as a driver, what am I talking about? Driver/cutter, running through the ball like that, that makes you extremely dangerous within the half court. It gives the defense another thing they have to guard. And while maybe they don't have to guard you as a shooter, maybe they don't have to guard you as a catch and shooter, they do have to still keep their eyes on you. They do still have to guard you because they know that if they kick it out to you, you are running full speed at the elite athleticism, the all-time athleticism that Ausar has. You are running through that catch and immediately getting a paint touch. They have to keep their eyes on you because if they don't, you're going to get easy layup, dunk, or kick out, dump off, whatever it is. You have to pay attention to him. And I think you saw that in this game. I hope it's something you continue to see as the season goes on. I hope the coaching staff continues to hammer that home for him because that is another way in which you can attack teams that want to sag off of him. And in this game, we spoke about this throughout the offseason. He didn't play very many minutes this past year, and he was still effective. Filled up the box score. This game, he's at 36 minutes, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Just an incredible game from Ausar. And then to get even more in depth with what he did in the specific points of the game that really won the Pistons the game. He came through for them in the fourth quarter. He dominated the game in the fourth quarter. The Pistons won this game because Ausar Thompson came through with multiple back-to-back-to-back-to-back game-changing plays. Whether it was back-to-back offensive rebound finishes and one finish, which, by the way, Ausar is showing more emotion than I've ever seen him at any point of his career. He had an and one finish off an offensive rebound and started screaming, getting hyped. Love to see it. But whether it's back-to-back offensive rebounds that are finishes for him, or the next offensive rebound where he then kicks it, or dumps it off, I should say, to Tobias for a putback, or if it's a steal on the defensive end, whether it's a defensive rebound to close out the defensive possession, whether it's another great contest on Jaylen Brown, or whether it's another one of these drives to the basket. He had about 5 or 6 game-winning plays in that fourth quarter and really took over the game without needing to be an on-ball, high-usage guy. He took over the game with his rebounding, with his crashing the glass, with his cutting, with his drives, and with his defense. And the Pistons absolutely need it because the Celtics made this a game. They cut it to 4, and it was looking a little spooky there. Starting to get a little scared there. And then Ausar came through with multiple putbacks, multiple and one opportunities, multiple big-time passes, big-time defensive plays. Ausar was absolutely fantastic in this game, and this is the Ausar that we were told we were going to get this year. And this type of Ausar is the second best player on the Pistons, and he's an incredibly impactful basketball player. This is the breakout most improved player of the year award type of stuff that we all saw coming. Us Ausar fans saw coming. That Zach Lowe, Bill Simmons, Nekias Duncan, all these guys outside of Detroit that were predicting most improved player of the year for Ausar. This is what you expected. This is the type of play you expected. Continue to hit free throws, be aggressive as a driver, be aggressive on the offensive end of the floor, be aggressive with the ball in his hands. And again, just one turnover again, with him running a lot of point guard. Derek White was pressuring full court, and he handled it well. This is now back-to-back-to-back games where he's handling the on-ball pressure well as the point guard when he is asked to initiate the offense, and he's getting it up the floor, getting them in their offense early, and is not struggling against on-ball pressure by really good point-of-attack defenders. So all of that stuff, Ausar played great, absolutely exceptional. I thought he was the player of the game for the Pistons. He had a fantastic game. Coming up, though, let's move on to Jalen Duren, who had a rough start, ended up having a great game, turned it up as the game went on. I want to talk about how he had a great game, and also I want to discuss just the highs and lows of like the Jalen Duren roller coaster and how he can just make it a more consistent, positive play throughout the entire game. I want to talk about and break it down coming up. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. That's personally my favorite, betting the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game more exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300. You heard that right. $300 now in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And again, your first bet, $5. Just has to be a first $5 bet. If it hits, $300 in bonus bets. That is, you'll have a lot of fun throughout the app with those bonus bets. So take advantage of that. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. That's another great way to support the podcast. Playback Room, Substack, all that good stuff in the description down below. Check it all out. Take advantage of the 50% off deal. Watch all the games with us. You guys know all the good stuff. Jalen Duren. He ended this game with 24 points, 17 rebounds, 2 blocks on 6 of 12 shooting, and 12 of 13 from the free throw line. Much like with Ausar Thompson, when you are able to dominate the paint, when you are able to dominate offensive rebounds, and really make your physical dominance felt against a team that doesn't have a good front court, they're probably going to foul you a ton. You have to be able to make them pay at the free throw line. And having a big like Jalen Duren who can hit free throws is big for the Detroit Pistons, and it was big for him in this game as well. I want to talk about, though, I want to talk about the highs and lows of Jalen Duren. Because through the first 3 games, you have seen the highs and you have seen the lows. And there's been a lot of talk already through 3 games about how good the team's been with Isaiah Stewart on the floor versus how they've been with Duren on the floor. And Duren is how I would describe his play through the first 3 games of the season, for me, through 3 games. And this isn't any finalization. You guys know that I like to do my overall, takeaways after like 20 games. I like doing it in 20-game sample sizes. I would describe it, if I had to use one word, frustrating. Because you get these great plays, you will get this 1 minute of great stretches of play from Duren so far, but then you'll get these multiple back-to-back plays where it's like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? And those are the most frustrating ones. You want to talk about how frustrating it is? Multiple times tonight, especially, there was one play in the second quarter, I believe it was. Or actually, no, it was the fourth quarter. I'm sorry. Fourth quarter, Derek White hits a pull-up 3 off a screen at the top of the key. Duren should be way higher. You know, coming off the screen that they are going to shoot 3s. It's Boston. He needs to be a lot higher on the screen. He isn't high. He's in the paint. And after Derek White hits that 3, J.B. Bickerstaff is on the court, screaming. You can hear him through the broadcast and swinging his hand, pointing up, saying, "Get up! Get up!" He was furious. And it's because Jalen Duren has these lapses that absolutely are like killer. But then he will have these back-to-back plays or these long stretches of just dominating a team on the offensive glass, dominating in the paint, showing off this really good touch in the paint, hitting his free throw, drawing fouls, and then you're like, you can do this. If you can just do this for me, it would be all good. Like, for example, the first half was rough for him. He shot 3 of 8 from the field and was a -9 with, I think the worst thing about his first half, he had 4 turnovers in the first half. 4 turnovers. He wasn't playing well. And it's like, in the first half, I'm sitting there like, Boston is a very small front court. They are not a good front court. I'm not even sure if their front court is full of NBA players. They play in the NBA, but I'm not sure if they're NBA players. And you're expecting going into this game, like, Duren has to dominate. Duren should be dominating this matchup. This should be where the Pistons win. This should be how the Pistons win. And it wasn't happening through the first half. And it was frustrating. He wasn't playing well defensively. He was giving up open 3s. He wasn't rotating very well. Like, it was just a very frustrating watch for Duren in the first half. And you have, on the other hand, you have Isaiah Stewart playing exceptionally well. Plus 11 in the game, 9 points, 3 rebounds, hit 2 threes, was playing incredible. And it's like, man, if Duren's going to continue to play like this, play Stu in the second half. Like, that's where you were at halftime. Then he comes out of halftime. In the second half, he's 3 of 4 from the field, 9 of 10 at the free throw line, 15 points, 8 rebounds, a block, and no turnovers. And they won his minutes by 11 in the second half. It's like, if you can just be that guy in the first half, if you can be that guy consistently, like, there would be no problems, and it wouldn't be such an up and down roller coaster, frustrating of a watch. Duren has such special talent on the offensive end of the floor. He can drive to the basket. He can draw fouls. He's a good passer. He's an incredible rebounder. He's incredibly strong. He has good touch around the rim. He's a good lob threat for Cade. Like, he has all of that talent offensively. But they need him to catch up defensively. He has to get better defensively. And in this game, he had 2 blocks in this game. What you've noticed about Duren, we talked about this a little bit last year, too, at the end of the year. When he is on the floor with Ausar, he is much more aggressive as a rim protector because he trusts that someone will get the rebound behind him. If he rotates, he trusts that he'll have Ausar rotating behind to get this rebound. And Ausar had 12 rebounds. Even Tobias had 8 rebounds. Like, these guys are helping him out. You see him, when he's allowed to just stay in the paint, he has gotten better as a rim protector. He has gotten better at chasing shots at the rim. That is more consistent within his game. When he's moved outside of the paint, through 3 games, it still looks like a massive struggle right now, especially guarding guys who can shoot from beyond the arc and being high enough in the pick and roll, which is what we talked about a little bit earlier with J.B. Bickerstaff when he was so frustrated. It's Jalen Duren, like, I guess this is a good way to paint the game for him. He ended the game +2 on the game. In single game plus minus, I don't want to make that the biggest takeaway because it can be noisy. But I don't think it is in this game. It kind of paints exactly what I'm talking about. He ended it as a +2 when he was a -9 in one half of basketball. It was one half was way down here. It's like you're so frustrated. He's turning the ball over. He's making bad passes. He's taking bad shots. He's 3 of 8 from the floor, and they don't really have anyone that can guard him. And he's giving up shots, so it's like, what are you doing? And then the second half starts, and he played so much better in the second half that he erased that first half play. It's just like Duren is a very tantalizing player, and he has the skill and the talent to be an impactful player for the Pistons. They just need it for more consistent stretches, and defensively, they have to get him caught up when he's forced to guard outside the paint. That has to get better. It just has to. If he wants to be, and everyone wants him to be the future big man of the Pistons, they want him to get this long-term extension. They want him to deserve it. They want all this to happen. He has to be more consistent. That player that you saw in the second half against Boston, that should be the player you see for an entire game, especially against a team that doesn't have anyone that guard him. To add on to that, you can't have the possessions like the one where JB was losing it, where you just have like a mental lapse defensively. 1 or 2 mental lapses defensively, especially late in games, will lose you basketball games. They will lose you NBA games. The Pistons have high expectations. He is one of their best players. He is one of their players that they are going to go to the most. They need him to show up. They need him to deliver. They are going to be relying a lot on Jalen Duren. He has the skill to do it. He just has to be more consistent, and he must get better defensively. He just has to, man. He has to be more consistent defensively and pay attention and be locked in defensively. He has it in him. 24-17 game for him. 24.17 rebounds. A big-time game. Dominated the paint. But let's be more consistent. Let's just, let's be this way throughout an entire game and be locked in defensively. I hope we get to see that from him, because if he does, he deserves the contract. He deserves an extension from the Pistons, and he will be here for a long time. Just you have to be more consistent, man. You got to be. That's all I've got for you guys today, though. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to this on. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Stay safe out there, and peace out, everybody.